Hey everyone, thank you for joining me on my humble little production here, known as Brooklyn Baritone. But of course, whenever you choose to join me, morning, afternoon, evening, nighttime, late at night, it doesn't matter. I always appreciate the likes, the looks, the listens. Of course, I won't mind if you hit that subscription, notification bell on my YouTube channel, Brooklyn Baritone. Of course, to help the algorithm out, but no pressure from me whatsoever. I'm going to get right into it. It's real out here in these streets. As a matter of fact, it's real out here in the skies. It's also real out here in our homes. It's real out here where we work. It's real out here where we lay our heads. It's real everywhere. What's real? Spiritual warfare. Things that people just can't connect with. And I get it. When people may hear that, they may have an idea of what it may be, and people also may get turned off. I understand. I was there at one point myself as well. The thing is, many people would attribute people's experiences or how people act who are supposed to be Christians, and they kind of use that as the defining factor of who Yah is. And this is not true. Unfortunately, people have done a fantastic and amazing job of messing things up. I can't even imagine how much people in history have gone through the phase of not wanting anything to do with Yah, with pulling away. We have the receipts. The Age of Enlightenment is one thing. You can look it up. I'm not here to talk about that, but that is one point in history where you can use as a reference point where people pulled away because people messed things up. But I also want to talk about the fact that many people would also use talking points like there's no real historical proof or evidence that Yeshua walked the earth. There's no geographical evidence. There's no chronological evidence. It doesn't match up. Christianity borrowed things from other religions. They stole from other religions. I understand because there's so much information. There's many things that are truthful that are legit history, but because we don't have that discernment to really buckle down and sift through that knowledge to see what's actually true, what is not true, which one came first, which one didn't. It's not the fact that so much what certain things came first because we chronologically have been proven to be off. That's a whole other topic. What I really wanted to focus on is the fact that besides the arguments that you may have to say that you reject Yahusha, you reject Yah, you reject the Bible because you feel it's been corrupted by man. You cannot refute the fact that there are testimonies of actual living, breathing people out there. These people went through experiences that you can't refute, you can't take it away from them, you can't deny it. So you may have the academia side of the house for their arguments, but then you have the actual legitimate, real life world circumstances. So I'm going to bust down about three different clips because I've been moved to share this with you guys because I look at a lot of things. I go through a lot of different things. I study, try to raise up my discernment. But I feel it's only fair the things that I come across too, I share with you. See, this first clip here is from a YouTube channel called Life is Spiritual, where it's an African woman. She basically, for I think almost 2 hours long, is the clip, is the video. I'm not going to play the whole 2 hour long video, but she talks about how she was basically manipulated and forced into a life of witchcraft, and then how she in turn would attack people and Christians. Watch this.
I was always deformed. Every time I refused to do an assignment,
they would torture you.
Deform me so that I lose esteem. And the next time they send you, you have to do whatever they are sending you to do. And part of the things I was being sent to do is to make students dream like they are flying, but they're having out-of-body experiences. And this jinn or demon that was sending me would be the one to take those children for different trips and give them tasks. And they work, so when they wake up, they are so tired. And they don't know, they think it's just a dream. Parents, you have to pray for your children because the battle is real. And the schools where you take your children, they are devil agents. So
right there, and children of devil agents.
Yeah, you have to teach your children to pray Even before sleeping, because I would go to some homes and I cannot access the child because there is a wall of fire around that child. Or I go to wake the child up because I have to touch the child and wake the child up subconsciously and tell her, follow me, and I find this child is sleeping in a pool of blood that I cannot access. You have to cover your children in the blood of Jesus. I would find these children protected. There are some children I would find angels are watching over them. And when I tell people that I would fight with angels, I have to do this mission. I've been sent. If I fail, I'm going to be deformed. And there's an angel protecting these children. So I would try to fight to do this mission. But again, the angels overpower me.
So she talks about, I played briefly of how she, as a practicing witch back then, could not attack people because of prayer. Again, it's real out here everywhere. Spiritual warfare is legitimate. I pray every single day and I talk to Yah throughout the day. You cannot move around without covering. You have to remember these vessels are a temple. People like to say that we are spiritual beings living in a physical body. Well, it's your spirit that's in here inhabiting it. But then at the same time, what else are you invoking? What kind of media, what kind of company, what kind of lifestyles and habits and practices that you will bring about with yourself that's causing doorways to be open, portals to be open, to have less of yourself in control. Because just the right kind of song would come on and it'll just change your mood just like that. So if you watch certain things all the time, you're around a certain environment all the time, you're around certain people all the time, that invites things in you. This is all spiritual. I'm going to go on to the next clip that I have here. This clip is from a YouTube channel called Randy K, where he was talking with another woman who was an ex-witch and how she encountered attacking people and Christians.
There were certain Christians or certain people that would not be at the effect of these prayer or these chants or these these practices.
Yep. So I would actually travel in the spirit, astral projection, to influence, I don't know, lust or something on a Christian. And in the spirit, I would see like a dome, like a blue dome over groups of Christians that were praying, or just through all those experiences, I connected that we could not attack Christians as they were actively praying protection from God. Like, there was a no-go zone.
You see yet another example and testimony of what the other side does. Because we think that we don't have all the answers. There's no one truth. We're all still trying to figure out and feel our way in the dark. The thing is, you have so much different things pointing to Yah and Yahusha, undeniably. I get it that there are people that do not have a clue. They're very ignorant. Not because they deliberately want to be ignorant, but it gets to a point where you have to understand what's really happening. There are people who don't know about spiritual warfare, but best believe, just like I show these two out of many people, millions of people, currently today and in history, they practice these things. Spiritual warfare is a tactic used against you, especially against those who don't know. What did Bane say to Batman? Deception and theatricality, powerful agents against the uninitiated, against those who don't know. There are people who know exactly what spiritual warfare is, and there are people who know that you don't know, and they are banking on your ignorance and separation from Yah to continue to destroy and feed off of you and gain whatever it is that they want to gain based on your misery and your ignorance and your destruction. Now, this last clip that I'm going to share with you from another YouTube channel, I watch these testimonies a lot. It's from Delafe. I believe I'm pronouncing it correctly, Delafe Testimonies, about a young woman who was caught up in witchcraft and spiritual warfare.
God is the creator. He can know all of these things and still be God. But when we know these things, we become like Satan, who had access to these things and then wanted to exalt himself like God. You know what I mean? And that's really what happens to people in the New Age. We become our own gods. And we are told, actually, that we are gods, that we are the creators of our reality, and that it's us. And I was all into like the goddess worship and the worship of the self.
So you see this with people, they actually know what they're doing. Some people were basically put into it. They had portals open because they were abused when they were younger, sexually abused. People had blood covenants on them when they had no idea. And a lot of times it was by people who were close to them. The enemy is not always going to be somewhere far off in some distant place hiding. It's going to be someone who's going to have direct access to you. People who should have your trust, who should have your best interest at heart. I believe most people on this earth went through some kind of trauma or abuse, be sexually, mentally, verbally, or any other way, or all of the above. And these things, unfortunately, are not resolved in a manner that they should be, because we kind of accept it, and because of most of us have our ignorance of, again, spiritual warfare. We don't realize how real it is in these streets, in our homes. That's where it starts. Of course, I always say that collectively, we fell asleep at the wheel, because the more that we compromise ourselves, the more we open up ways, we start to develop habits now. Well, I did it one time before. And even sometimes one little thing that you thought was one little thing actually could be something further down the road that affected other people that you have no idea. I just gave 3 examples, and there are many, many, many more examples out there. So much more examples. So I know that people who they're not going to listen to it. The people is not going to accept it. I get it. It's not my job to force, but it is my responsibility as a follower of Yah to bring this forward to whoever I can and when I'm moved to do so. Anyways, that's all I got. I want you guys to be blessed. I want you guys to walk good, and you'll hear from me. Yes, I know I take so much time in between my productions. That's my fault. I'm looking to keep up my previous consistent schedule. You can catch more of my content on my website at brooklynbaritone.com. You can see more of my video content on my YouTube channel, Brooklyn Baritone. You can also find me on my Instagram and on my Facebook, Brooklyn Baritone. I'm also on podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music under Podcasts, and Apple Music under Podcasts as well. I also still air 4 times a week on local cable television. That's on Verizon, Optimum, RCN, and Spectrum, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 12 a.m. and 2 p.m. Thank you guys. Be blessed. We'll hear from you next time. I'm out.